folks. Today's episode brought to you in part by Cedar's Seeds. That's right. It's almost spring. That means it's time for you to sow your seeds. We've got Trainwreck, Maestro, Tank Engine, Gold Standard, Gunpowder. We put up the screen. Here it is, folks. Welcome to our store. Welcome back. If you use the coupon code majority, you will get 15% off your seeds. We've got instructions there on how to and links on how to grow. Super easy to do. This stuff grows like weeds.
Huh.
I mean, it's actually true. We also have two new strains. One is Shofar, which comes from Gelato 41, and Casual Friday, which comes from Gorilla Glue. Do we have any pictures on there? Have we put those pictures up yet? No, those are the things. Oh, I guess we haven't posted the photos, but people have been sending in clips of their grows. 15% off with the coupon code majority. Check it out. Now's the time to plant your seeds. cedarsseeds.com.
With Sam Seder.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
And I get the feeling you've been cheated.
It is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, it's not so super Tuesday. I mean, we all know what the outcome's going to be, at least in terms of the presidential elections, but an important one in California and also relevant in North Carolina governorship. There's a couple of races around the country that are important. We'll talk about those. Also on the program today is Trump's Supreme Court investment pays off. He's on the ballot. And after a temporary injunction, the DOJ is looking for Supreme Court to permanently stop Texas's immigration deportations law. Haiti in a state of emergency. Ariel Henry seems to be missing in action, and Port-au-Prince reportedly like a war zone with thousands of escaped prisoners and gangs in battle. Congress about to kneecap the DOJ's antitrust division in the budget deal. Concerted worker labor actions happening all across Minnesota this week. And in a sign of the desperate conditions in Gaza, U.S. now considering sending aid via the sea to Palestinians. Trump's former chief financial operator pleads guilty to perjury. And while that New York Times story continues to implode, UN team finds info provided by Israeli government to provide reasonable grounds of rape occurring on October 7th. Dartmouth basketball players to vote today regarding unions. Katie Hobbs, the third Democratic governor to erase, or I should say commence, medical debt erasure. All this and more on today's Majority Report. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. It is Emma Vigilant. I can't see the screen for some reason. It's all
Oh.
broken up.
But I'm here in the flesh. Newsday Tuesday.
And are we in a two-shot now? I
Yes,
can't
we
see.
are.
Okay. I had that quadrant for whatever reason is completely. It's like a Jackson Pollock.
Might be having a video card issue.
Is that right?
Looks fine on ours.
Oh, I got it on all my other screens, but that one I don't. But nevertheless, it is Newsday Tuesday. A lot of stuff going on. Let's just get right with this first, because this is important. People are still going to the polls in California and out west. So I wanted to start with this. If you are looking to vote uncommitted in today's primary, there are today, anyways, 4 or 5 states in which you can do so. Alabama, Colorado. In Colorado, it's called non-committed. Iowa, that's a mail-only caucus, so it may be too late to do that. Massachusetts allows you no preference. And Minnesota, North Carolina allows you no preference. Tennessee and American Samoa. We'll talk about these as they go. But if you want to vote, an uncommitted, that's the way you can do it in those states. There is another section of states, well, that being Vermont, essentially, where you can't vote. There's no uncommitted option, but you can write in. So you could write in uncommitted. That seems to be the one that I think is catching fire. And I think people understand what that's about. In Maine, most write-ins are not tallied. Maybe unless people vote enough with uncommitted, but blank votes are tallied. So maybe you can leave that blank. I don't know if there's a concerted effort in Maine to organize around this. Category 4, and this is coming from that Entermentum. He's got a little...
Ettingermentum.
Yes, I can. There's
Sure.
no way I can
You
even...
shorten. It's a nickname.
Yeah. Enti. That's what I call it. This would be... let's see. Category 4, no uncommitted option. But California, Texas, Virginia, and Utah, most write-ins not counted. Blank ballots not counted. So you can vote for, I guess, I don't know who you would vote for to signal at that point. A problem with with Gaza. I
Right.
mean, you can vote for one of the primary candidates. I think they're both on the ballot. I think Marianne Williamson has jumped back into the race, last I heard.
Yeah. Unsuspended her campaign. Is that the first time that's ever happened?
just
in
say,
history?
No. Ross Perot went back and forth.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, as a third-party candidate, actually. And still ended up winning 20%
Oh,
of
a
the
lot.
vote.
Yeah.
I think it's a problem for candidates to see grassroots momentum and say, not like that, me,
Well,
if that's what people are doing.
well, yeah. I mean, what have I been saying about this campaign?
Well, I think it came in, to be fair, it came in after she came in third to uncommitted, but beat Phillips in...
She did, but like on the
Endorse
I'm
uncommitted
sorry,
then.
on the
Right.
heels of that historic display of democracy, of people putting their voices together, coming together to share their voices to express opposition to this genocide, to then say, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to jump back in the race, raise some more money to sell a book. I don't know.
Right.
all of her energy should be going towards the uncommitted stuff.
I went from positive feelings about her and her role in in the presidential race to not so much, because I find that to be quite cynical, to be honest with you.
Well, I got to be honest. I hadn't thought about it that much. I just there was not at one point it became not a viable candidacy any more than Phillips, frankly, for that matter. Disco Elysium. I voted in Massachusetts this morning by writing in uncommitted. I didn't like the no preference option. The language didn't seem right. Let's just hear Donald Trump He's responding to the presidential immunity ruling. No, excuse me. This is forget that. Let's look at the clip number 3.
Okay.
This is after the Supreme Court ruling regarding ballot access. The ruling itself, it's a little bit controversial. We'll talk about that in a moment. But this is the funny part about this Fox Outnumbered. Apparently, contributor Kim Douglas, who is one of the Fox Outnumbered, has never, ever seen Donald Trump speak or been aware of anything he said. This is clip number 3.
From 45 to 46.
So what I thought, just to kind of continue what you were saying there, Emily, what he said was, take me on yourself. Don't use those upper echelons of justices, the DOJ and all of that. And I mean, it was like, I looked at Emily and she was like, preach.
I was like,
the mic.
You know what it reminded me of? Just permit me to say this, is that joke between the scientist and God, where they each say, the scientist says, I can make my own man. All right, we'll start with the dirt here. And then God says, hold on, find your own dirt. And I found like that's what Trump was saying. He's like, you know what? My policies are the reason why this country worked. My policies are the reasons why people were safer at the southern border. So you want to get somewhere? Use my policies. It's okay, right? And I thought what was interesting about him today, I wrote down measured. He was authoritative, he was firm. And he, unlike 46, said, I have great respect for the Supreme Court justices. He said this is a big step toward unification. And it was refreshing to hear a president that spoke highly and in great reverence, and rightly so, for the Supreme Court decision.
Kim.
So good. What I love about him, he never plays the victim. He was like, keep weaponizing me. I just keep winning. Never plays the victim. I thought he was super presidential today.
I was watching social media among some Democrats who were surrogates, people who we know even on this channel. And when I saw one tweet out, oh, this is not exciting, this is not boring. That's why the networks cover him. Yeah. Because they want the moment that they can all react to and say, he's a liar, he's this, he's that. When he's measured and he's going down his list of ways that it worked when he was in office and what he wants to do next, he even got to what he wants to do next.
Okay, and I mean the idea that this guy doesn't play the victim is pretty shocking. The ruling itself basically said that the Congress has to have statutory mechanism in which to make the insurrectionist clause in the Constitution functional. Now, of course, there are congressional statutes, but it does seem that there is a real reluctance, and I think it's somewhat understandable, I guess, in wanting to maintain him on the ballot. Just sometimes the court doesn't get involved in that. Sometimes it does when it's Bush v. Gore. But the interesting thing here is that ostensibly it was a 9-0 ruling. 4 of the justices seem to have a problem with how far the court took it in terms of responding.
Which was like saying that essentially Congress has only the authority to rule on Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And although they did leave the door open, is my understanding, to the criminal insurrection statute to be sufficient as well for Congress to adopt, essentially. But it does narrow things.
It is a little bit absurd, the idea that for whatever reason, in this one particular instance, the judiciary can't do it unless that was the argument they were going to make. There is a statute. I mean, we have U.S. Code 18 U.S. Code 2383, rebellion, insurrection. Whoever incites, sets on foot, assists, engaged in any rebellion, insurrection against the United States shall be fined under this title, imprisoned for not more than 10 years. I mean, so and shall be incapable of holding any office under the Constitution. I mean, so they've done that. It's a little bit absurd. And but they went forward and basically said that there has to be almost like a new law that Congress has to pass has to pass. Maybe in outlining every instance of insurrection, it's unclear. But this is where we are with the Supreme Court. That was an investment that, paid off in sorts. Here is Donald Trump's statement, or I should say his video statement from Mar-a-Lago yesterday.
The thing that will be coming up very soon will be immunity for a president, and not immunity for me, but for any president. If a president doesn't have full immunity, you really don't have a president, because nobody that is serving in that office will have the courage to make, in many cases, what would be the right decision, or it could be the wrong decision. It could be, in some cases, the wrong decision, but they have to make decisions, and they have to make them free of all terror that can be rained upon them when they leave office or even before they leave office. And some decisions are very tough. I can tell you that as a president, that some decisions to make are very tough. I took out ISIS, and I took out some very big people from the standpoint of a different part of the world.
I think he's trying to say he assassinated Soleimani.
Yeah,
right? I mean, that's
from the standpoint of him being Iranian.
But what I mean, he's pivoted here. I mean, this statement, of course, was about the Supreme Court ruling yesterday, but he pivots to presidential immunity because that's obviously the thing that's on his mind. He is afraid of facing criminal charges, and that ruling we're going to get in June or July. I think it could go as early as the first week of July, the first couple of days of July, and the idea that a president cannot be held to account for, regardless of what they do in office, is absurd.
Yeah. Isn't that the one thing the boomers accomplished is like say, hey, Nixon, we can't abide some of this stuff?
Theoretically, I mean, there was a reason why they needed to pardon him.
Yeah, exactly.
And presumably that was because there is criminal liability for things that you do when you are president, if they aren't necessarily in service of your duty as president. There's no argument that overthrowing an election is your duty as a president. That's just not part of the job description.
Yeah. But that was the statement that Fox and Friends was saying was so kind and focused towards others and the other elected officials, because he's saying there that it's not just about me. It's not
I'm
just
thinking about
me.
everybody else.
Everybody else
This
who
is
could
the
be
populace saying,
targeted.
all of us politicians, how is it supposed to take it to the politicians and drain the swamp? Actually, we should all be protected because it's bad if we get accountability.
And I just don't want to move past our discussion of this without acknowledging that Fox and Friends there also compared him to God.
Yeah, that was something else.
I mean,
Find your own
he's
dirt.
like, I am
Find
God.
your own sand.
I am God, and that's why.
Find your own marble.
Right. I'm doing this for you all, my flock.
It is, I don't quite get the analogy. I mean, I get the joke.
Find
a
your
little
Polish
bit.
workers.
I mean,
but
Mike
you have to
Pence
start with the
agrees.
premise. You have to start with the premise that
Find your own
God-
loan from your dad.
God exists. I mean, that's like that joke where Moses and God are playing golf,
Mhm.
and Moses hits the ball and I don't know, lands 100 yards from the green. I don't know enough about golf. Then God hits the ball. It goes into the pond. A fish swims it across. Turtle pulls it up and walks it up to the edge of the green. And the big wind blows and it comes right up to the cup, and then lightning hits the ball. And Moses turns to God and goes, "Are you going to play golf or are you going to F around?"
I can't say I've heard that one before.
As a golfer, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Folks, we have a sponsor of today's program. As always, I got it right here. Liquid IV. It is the thing that keeps me lucid. I don't know. Hydrated during. That's probably where
Definitely
I'm
not fluid.
Right. Over the course of the show every day. And It doesn't matter whether you hydrate to live or live to hydrate. Liquid IV quenches your thirst faster than water alone. Has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness. This all in a single, now sugar-free stick. 1 stick, 16 ounces of water. Liquid IV hydrates better than water alone. It has 3 times the electrolytes. Like I say, there are no artificial sweeteners and 0 sugar. It has 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness. It's non-GMO, free from gluten, free from dairy, free from soy. I take it on trips when I go flights. I take it, but every day I drink at least a bottle of this to get me through the show. What else? What else? I mean, how big of a bigger endorsement that I can have? I don't know how many ounces.
I'm drinking watermelon right now.
There you go.
Yeah, you do use it every day.
Yep. Hydrate, however, or I should say, however you hydrate. Grab your Liquid IV hydration multiplier, sugar-free, in bulk nationwide at Costco, or get 20% off your first order when you go to liquidiv.com. Use the code MajorityRep at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using the promo code MajorityRep, not Majority Report, MajorityRep at liquidiv.com. Also, Bradley last night tried the new gummies from sunsetlakesabade.com. It's their newest product, the Delta 9 gummies. They contain 5 milligrams of hemp-derived THC and 50 milligrams of Sabade. It's a gentle 10-to-1 blend that you're sure to love. Bradley, what was your response?
They're very effective.
Good to know.
There you go.
I had a good time last night.
Wow.
Before
All right.
going to sleep.
Folks, right now, when you use the code Delta at checkout, you can get 25% off of all their gummy products. Their regular Sabade gummies, their Sabade gummies with melatonin, the Sabade gummies with ashwagandha, I can't pronounce that, mushroom for relaxation, focus gummies that have lion's mane and cordyceps. Check them out. You will love them. And the other THC with the full spectrum, 1 milligram of THC. The sale ends March 6th, so that's tomorrow. Check out sunsetlakesabade.com for terms and conditions. As always, you can get 20% off site-wide with the code LEFTISBEST. One word, but 25% off all their gummies until tomorrow night. Somebody's asking, Swing State, why do we have to say Sabade instead of, well, you know? And that's because of, there are some platforms that are a little sensitive to that.
Especially that THC.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get back into this. Donald Trump spoke towards the immunity. And one of the things, let's go into Super Tuesday, I guess. The biggest race, of course, is going to be in California, in my estimation, and we'll see as to whether we get 2 Democrats coming out of the jungle primary or 1. Adam Schiff, the centrist Democrat, he actually was, he was one of the blue dogs, I think, right? Didn't he come in as a blue dog Democrat? And he has seen more or less the writing on the wall.
He's kind of been benefiting from the Pelosi machine. She handpicked Adam Schiff in many people's eyes as somebody who her California kind of fundraising apparatus was going to back. And he has just been able to rake in a bunch of dollars. He also, I think a big part of it too was she also placed him on the House Oversight Committee. If I'm not mistaken, that was the committee that he was on during the Trump administration. So he was really visible in going after Donald Trump. And I think that, intelligence. Sorry, House Intelligence. Yeah. I apologize. House Intelligence Committee. So in that period of impeachment and of Russia and all of that, he was as visible as anybody in combating Trump. That's part of why Dan Goldman won this primary here in New York in my district, because there's a lot of spotlight that gets put on you when you're in that position.
Well, Goldman won because the progressives split the vote down 2 or 3 ways.
But every ad he ran was like, I went after Trump. I went after Trump.
Yeah,
I went
the
after
prosecutors
Trump.
get that.
Yeah.
Now, the irony about Schiff making his bones on the impeachment hearings is that he was the last person of the 3 Democrats running in the Senate race to call for Trump's impeachment. It was I can't remember exactly the order, but I know he was the last. I don't know who were the first. Who was the first? But he was the last to call for impeachment because he was waiting for Nancy Pelosi, who you'll recall also did not want to impeach Donald Trump.
She didn't want to impeach Bush either.
Well, she bragged about that.
Yep.
And she went on television, and I can't remember what show it was. I think it was one of the late night shows. And basically said we can't impeach Donald Trump because then we won't be able to prosecute him after he serves his term as president. And of course,
nothing has ever been more wrong in the history of the world.
I find it really hard to believe that she was not aware of that. I find that really hard to believe. I think she just didn't want to do it. Typical sort of like Democratic fear of exerting any power. But that's where we're at. The other interesting race that is happening is in North Carolina, where you have an absolute lunatic running for governor there, Mark Robinson.
He's going to win the Republican primary, most likely.
Most likely. Here is, first let's hear from Donald Trump talking about his race with Nikki Haley. This is clip number 10.
Yeah. We're trying to get this video up here. Yeah.
Okay, so here is Donald Trump talking about. Hold on. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me. Okay, here is Donald Trump calling in to Fox's Fox and Friends this morning, talking to Brian Kilmeade and Lawrence Jones about Nikki Haley. Remember, just yesterday we heard on Outnumbered that he never plays the victim, Donald Trump. Here it is.
So speaking of Nikki Haley, she's coming up shortly. After tonight, if the polls are correct and you run the table and you're a week away from locking it up, will there be any effort on your side to reach across and say, okay, just like Ted Cruz, just like Marco Rubio, let's make amends and fight on one side? Would you call her, reach out to her?
Look, she said she'd never run against me, and she did. She said she beat Ron DeSantis in Iowa, and she didn't. She ran up and she did. She misrepresents a lot of facts. She's not doing nearly well against. She's not doing very well against Biden. She shows these polls that nobody ever heard of. You got to tell the facts. You got to tell the truth. The answer is, I want everybody to come together. We're going to have a unified party because our real opponent happens to be named Biden. And he's a disaster. As I said, the worst president in our country. He's destroying our country.
So, Mr. President,
I don't think in terms of Nikki Haley.
Yeah, so
I'll tell you what.
Mr. President, real quickly, because we only got a little bit of time with you, is this your call right now to say, after tonight, Nikki Haley, join me on stage for the good of the Republican Party? Is that your request for her tonight?
Well, there's no path for her to win. Whether she likes hearing that or not, there's no path for her to win, no matter what. Now, today, I should win hopefully every state. I won North Dakota last night in a landslide, 87 to practically nothing. There's no path. You just saw the vote in Texas. That was a poll. That diner is a poll. Everybody, it was 100% for Trump. There is no path. What's she doing other than hurting the Republican Party? Now, I have to say this. Democrats gave her a lot of money. Democrats are because, as a certain person, Gavin Newsom said, there is a man named Gavin Newsom. He interjected himself into this.
Close.
He said,
Pause
"She's
it for
their
1
best
second. Can I just, Trump is trying,
That's
he loves
intentional.
his new scum.
Yeah.
That's not just a.
No. But
like
you know how he hits it
Democrat.
twice. He hits it twice,
New
though.
scum.
He does that. So go back a little bit. He repeats it the second time because he really wants his joke to land. You can hear them talking like, "Oh, that's his new scum."
And a reminder that new scum is the ex-husband of his daughter-in-law, Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Also,
Or
you know,
they may not be married, whatever. But
this is that technique is a talk radio thing. Rush Limbaugh started it. Mark Levin does this. I do it inadvertently now, but there have been occasions where I've actually done it on purpose. But here
it's
is
also a wrestling thing. I mean, it's like he's a wrestling fan, Donald Trump,
Without
and
it.
basically
Redundancy is important for communication.
basically
Yeah,
a
we all get it.
wrestling character.
new scum. Did you get my joke?
Yeah.
hurting the Republican Party. Now, I have to say this. Democrats gave her a lot of money. Democrats are because, as a certain person, Gavin Newsom said, there is a man named Gavin Newsom. He interjected himself into this. He said, she's their best surrogate for the Democrats. And that's right. She lost when you had Republican primaries where Democrats were allowed to vote, and they went in large numbers to try and make me look bad. And I still won. And I won in South Carolina against her. So, look, there's no path for Nikki. I wish Nikki the best. But she stood up and many, many times said, I'd never run against our president. He was a great president. I would never run. And then she ran. So, you know, those things you don't like to see. You like to see people that are truthful. With all of that being said, our party has to come together because we have to beat the Democrats, and they play dirty. They play very dirty. And we're going to beat them, and it's going to be the greatest election, maybe even more so, and maybe more important. I believe that November 5th is the most important day, perhaps, in our country's history. Because November 5th, we're going to hopefully get Biden out. It's going to be Election Day, November 5th. That's the
Oh, we're
most
going to do it on
important
Election Day this
We're
time.
going to get rid of Biden, the worst president ever, and we're going to close up our borders, and we're going to drill, baby, drill, and we're going to have a great economy. I'm doing tax cuts, additional. I gave the biggest tax cuts in history. They're bigger than the Reagan tax cuts, the biggest regulation cuts in history, and we'll go back to what we had. We have the greatest economy in the history of our country, and we're going to have it again, but in spades. It's going to be bigger and better than ever before. But we have to win this election because our country can't take too much more of this.
So I sense the doors open a little bit for reconciliation, and we'll see how this all finishes out tonight. Mr. President.
Reconciliation with Nikki Haley. Trump was on the campaign trail saying she'll never be vice president. So I don't know what that reconciliation looks like. But.
Yeah, what is it supposed to mean at that point?
I mean, she's got nothing, so it's comfortable for him to attack her. But I think there's there's a significant chance that she is being funded to stay in the race by people that want to hurt Donald Trump in the general election. I don't think it's that effective, but there's a non-zero chance of that.
She's the Schultz.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, as long as he's tied up, at least temporarily, he can't really pivot to Biden in the full way that he wants to.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, because I think she realizes she has no chance to be a part of this administration. She has no future in the Republican Party if he wins. And so it is, to the extent that she does, maybe it's 2028, but even then, who knows? And so she's just all in. This is there's a little bit of a kamikaze quality to it.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Well, and to your point, her futures and a lot of Republicans' futures are dependent on the Trump wing of the party kind of losing again and being weakened again. It's the same thing we talked about yesterday in regards to Mitch McConnell and who his replacement would be. Because if Trump wins again, then there's going to be a lot of, pressure to put a MAGA type person in charge of the Senate Republicans. And there's just like, I guess that split is going to be more determined. But if the Trump wing loses again and Trump loses to Biden, then it's harder to make the case that this is the way that the direction of the party should go. That's what they're banking on.
I think it's not even, I think all of that is correct. I would say it's not even so much of an argument at that point. They don't feel the pressure. Donald Trump can't hurt them anymore.
Yeah.
Or at least at least that's the thinking. Now, maybe he can, but I don't think he's going to go around and do the campaigning and non-endorsement of people, 2 years out from the election, because I have a feeling he's either going to be busy playing golf and napping, or he's going to be still defending himself from criminal and civil charges.
Exactly.
So I think that's the calculus there. This is they found a. I guess this is they found a voter in Texas who's a real Republican voter. She would not vote for a woman for president. I mean, this is
Hold on.
This is good stuff. This is
Wait, this is a woman saying it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
I'm just double checking. All right.
Yep. Here we go. This is
preparing myself.
This is the
Why is she voting?
This is the classic.
She hates women. She's a self-hating
This is
woman.
the classic
They can't be
in the diner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Have it from Allen, Texas.
Will,
The Allen
NBC is
Cafe.
reporting right now that Michelle Obama is not going to run for president. They're making that announcement this morning. Will you ask, is there a woman in there?
Pause it for
we
one
can get her
second.
reaction?
Who's reporting this? I thought we broke this story a long time ago that Michelle Obama is not running for president.
I have a scoop for any intrepid reporter that wants to slide into my DMs about my decision whether or not to run for president in 2024 or not.
I mean,
Hillary Clinton is not running for president.
we just got news that a big nightmare that we have every night is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because if she did run for president, she'd win, I think.
And I mean, this is the thing that's so hilarious about this is that they're reporting that this nightmare that they've had, this ongoing fantastical nightmare, is over, but it's really not. I mean, if you dreamt that Michelle Obama was going to jump into the race halfway through the primaries, you can also dream or have nightmares that she's just going to show up at the convention and take the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is all just a complete
the fact that they're telling you it's over, that they're reporting it, probably means that
This
it's
is when you
actually
need to be
in
most
the
vigilant,
works.
yeah.
Right. They're over the target.
Texas.
Will,
The Allen
NBC is
Cafe.
reporting right now that Michelle Obama is not going to run for president. They're making that announcement this morning. Will you ask, is there a woman in there that we can get her reaction?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, yeah, we got it, woman.
Say that off
I
mic.
remember her last name because who forgets a last name that is Tax? But I don't remember your first name. Paula Tax. So NBC just reported that Michelle Obama has said she will not run for president.
Thank God.
Okay.
Yes.
Ainsley said, I would love the reaction from a woman in the crowd. And
I wouldn't vote for a woman, and especially, Nikki Haley. I'm just going to say this. She's probably menopausal. We don't need that.
hey, she said, how about we vote for people regardless of their gender, just the right person for the job?
Oh my God.
No,
What's with the woke
buddy,
Is that what she said?
That is not what she said. That is not what she said.
We vote for the right person regardless of their gender as long as they can't be menopausal.
Yes, or on their period at all, ever. So why, I mean, honestly, it's kind of an affront that she even chose to respond to that question instead of deferring to her husband there.
Right,
I
immodest.
know it. Did he give her permission to speak? I didn't see that happen.
Yeah, why did the reporter not ask him first? Honestly.
I love how Will Kane does not miss a beat and completely tries to tell everyone you didn't just hear what you heard.
Also, is she unfit? Like, has she undergone menopause? Should she be even around heavy machinery? Those are the questions we should be asking.
Yeah. Let's play this again. This is too good.
Woman, and especially, Nikki Haley. I'm just going to say this. She's probably menopausal. We don't need that.
Hey, she said, how about we vote for people regardless of their gender, just the right person for the job for America?
We saw it. You put a mic in her face.
Wait, what? Oh, Will, are you telling us that the sound that we got was wrong?
No, she meant the opposite. Opposite. Huh?
That was pretty impressive.
What is the mindset of a woman that literally thinks that they are incapable of anything because of their biology?
They just can't be president. They can just do other things. She can be, I
voting
would
and
imagine,
driving.
like a housewife and
having a credit card.
Just like mass Stockholm syndrome.
Well, that's a new form of like sort of New York bigotry meeting a very ancient form of patriarchy.
Yes, yes, right. The black part of the fact that Michelle Obama was black also. I mean, it's a miracle she didn't say a
we dodged the
racial
bullet there.
slur on air.
Exactly. Today in North Carolina, we will find out who the two gubernatorial nominees are in this governorship race. Democrats have done pretty well in the last, I think 5 out of 6 governorships in North Carolina they've won. They don't do as well on a federal level.
This current governor, who's a Democrat's term limited out.
Exactly. But his lieutenant governor is a Republican. He is running. And the good news is that according to Donald Trump, this guy is like Martin Luther King Jr., but on steroids. And
so,
if you ever wondered what Martin Luther King would be like on steroids, that's some bad news for you.
I always think about Martin Luther King in body building competitions. That's how I choose to remember him.
But, I heard him coming in on the plane. I was listening, and I said to the people on the plane, watch this. This is Martin Luther King on steroids, okay? Now, I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King ×2. And he looked at me, and I wasn't sure, was he angry because that's a terrible thing to say, or was he complimented? I have never figured it out. But I'm telling you, he's one of, right? When I said that to you, you looked like, I don't know if I like that comment. You should like it, because you are outstanding, and you're going to be the next governor, so that's going to be very cool.
In other words, you're going to like it, because I'm telling you, you're going to like it.
Stomach turning.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
There's a chance though that he does like it, given who this guy is.
I guess, although I got to imagine even he feels like.
I think probably Trump. If he liked it, he would have let Trump know that he liked it.
Exactly.
I think the ambivalence is kind of telling.
It's interesting though.
I got the sense that you didn't like what I said to you, but you will.
But the reason I
like
even
it.
say that is because this guy is out of control insane. Off the rails.
Oh, come on. Here he is talking about why mass shootings. He's on a podcast. The podcast is the Anomic Age podcast. Here he is explaining why we get mass shootings.
In this country is the spiritual aspect, but it's bringing a spiritual stain on this country. People say, well, I just can't believe we're having all these mass killings, and I can't believe that people are so mean. Our own government is promoting the murder of infants. Mm-hmm. Do you think that somehow people talk about karma all the time?
Yeah.
Do you think that that's not swinging back around in this society? And that people are seeing how human life is being devalued through the murder of all these infants? Of course it is. Of course they are. So, it's just like that old thing that Malcolm X said years ago about the Kennedy assassination, about chickens coming home to roost.
Oh, you read my brain.
When you spill that innocent blood, that blood is going to come back as a stain on you, and it's going to come home to roost. And we see it now. We have these leftists out here are promoting these ideals that devalue human life. And now that it's starting to show up in our society in these terrible ways, they want to turn around, they want to try to blame guns, and they want to try to blame the NRA, and they want to try to blame conservatives, and they want to blame Donald Trump. They have nobody to blame but themselves and the policies that they've been pushing that devalue human life across the country.
So the idea being that abortion, which has been legal in this country for 50 years, it took a 30-year lag or so, 35 years for there to be an increase in mass shootings. not correlated at all into the massive uptick in the purchase of firearms.
Or the repeal of the assault weapons ban under the Bush administration. That's not the first time that he's weighed in on mass shootings. He has a series of Facebook posts that have not been deleted. One of them also refers to the movie Black Panther as a Jewish Marxist conspiracy theory.
Let's put this up. We'll read the whole thing.
I want to read, though, the one related first to the that was an aside, my apologies, to the mass shootings. This one where he says, "Let me see if I have this correct. A spoiled, angry, disobedient child shot and killed 17 of his classmates, and now spoiled, angry, know-it-all children are trying to tell law-abiding adults that we must give up our constitutional right to own certain weapons. Cue Rod Serling, because this must be an episode of The Twilight Zone. David Hogg and the rest of these silly little immature media prostitutes need to grab a passy, have a seat in timeout, and shut up." So he's referring to the victims of mass shootings as prostitutes. And then the other one I was referencing earlier, again, this is still up on his Facebook. We have this other one, Bradley.
This is back when he was just a businessman, right? I mean, he was just sort of weighing in.
2018. It is at once funny and sad how African Americans need Hollywood to validate them. I have been biting my tongue about this silly Black Panther comic book movie, but I can't any longer. It is absolutely amazing to me that people who know so little about their true history and refuse to acknowledge the pure sorry state of their current condition can get so excited about a fictional hero created by an agnostic Jew and put to film by satanic Marxists. How can this trash that was only created to pull the shekels out of your Schwarza pockets invoke any pride? You want something to be proud of? How about pulling your heads out of the sand and start speaking up and telling the hard truths about the excesses, blah, blah, blah.
So this is not MLK times 2. This is Jason Whitlock times 0.8.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's wild to go from Malcolm X's extremely based Vietnam quote about the JFK assassination and then saying these damn leftists. Like, that's one of the most famous quotes about criticizing American government overseas in world history, and then now you complain about Marxists. But
so maybe the reason he didn't like being compared to MLK is the fact that Martin Luther King, was like anti-war and
not an anti-Semite,
and maybe just different ideologically, as opposed to the on its face offensiveness of Trump's statements. I guess we'll never know.
That's pretty impressive, though, and you got to hand it to him for keeping that up on Facebook. Although I also think it's possible he can't find his way back there.
Yeah,
I have the links, buddy.
You can send it to him.
That's something dark, saying things like prostitutes. So
yeah,
I wonder if he's some kind of
he's definitely a lunatic.
Yeah, keep your kids away from him.
So we will give some wrap on today on Super Tuesday tomorrow. But I don't think I think look, if you have the opportunity to vote uncommitted or something similar, do so. The most that an uncommitted, and these are not swing states, so it really doesn't have the same sort of like salience to Biden's reelection in one respect, and it's not going to have the same sort of like publicity opportunity. But tomorrow we're going to be speaking to a representative of the biggest union in Washington State about their decision to endorse uncommitted in the Washington State primary, which is a week from today on March 12th. So we will be talking to them, and we'll talk more about other states that may end up, providing an opportunity to pressure the administration. There's a story out about Kamala Harris's.
Yes.
Why don't you talk about that? Because I think it's hard to know whether the story is true or not, but it's irrelevant insofar as you can tell what they're trying to do.
Exactly. Bradley, I'm going to send this here if we want to put this up on the screen. So last night, a story came out after Kamala Harris called for a ceasefire at a speech in Selma, Alabama. And then there was a pause, and then she said, for at least 6 weeks. There was mixed responses. One, the fact that she did seem kind of forceful and that there is a change in tone from the White House. I mean, it's way too delayed, was notable. But then the fact that she said that 6-week thing, it's like, or at least 6 weeks, is like, how much is this an update from your position previously for the past few weeks? That was a big part of why the United States was vetoing those UN ceasefire resolutions, because they said permanent as opposed to temporary. It was not enough of an improvement in my estimation, and I think many other people's estimations. So after that backlash happened, which was like, I think, not over the top, but still got the attention clearly of Kamala Harris's team, there was a piece last night, an exclusive in NBC News, where clearly her team leaked that she's not been happy with the Biden administration's policy on Gaza, and that they potentially edited her speech to add certain provisions, including potentially that 6-week language. Before Vice President Kamala Harris delivered pointed remarks Sunday about the need for an immediate 6-week ceasefire between Israel and Hamas as a part of a deal to release hostages, officials at the National Security Council toned down parts of her speech. 3 current U.S. officials and a former U.S. official familiar with the speech told NBC News. The original draft of Harris's speech, which is when it was sent to the National Security Council for review, was harsher on Israel about the dire humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip and the need for more aid than were the remarks she ultimately delivered, according to one of the current officials and the former official. 2 of the U.S. officials said the initial draft speech called out Israel more directly about the need to immediately allow aid trucks in. One of them described Harris's original language as strong but not controversial. The move to soften Harris's comments highlights how reluctant the White House still is to aggressively criticize Israel in public, as President Joe Biden tries to maintain some influence over the Israeli government and secure a hostage deal. The current officials said that the changes were tonal rather than shifts in policy, and that Harris's comments about a ceasefire, which were widely covered, reiterated Biden's remarks 2 days earlier and the administration's position on the war. Now, let's scroll actually to the bottom here, because this quote at the very end is, I think, the most notable part for me. Even before Harris called for a 6-week ceasefire, people inside and outside the Biden administration who are critical of Biden's handling of the war viewed Harris as wanting but unable to take a more forceful stance against the fighting in Gaza, a Democrat who helped elect Biden in 2020 told NBC News. That the person said Harris had gone to great lengths to show up as a more empathetic voice in her outreach to Muslim and Arab Americans, as well as other Democrats who are disturbed by the worsening situation after months of bombardment. Her hands are tied, the person said. People are not attacking her because they know this is not her policy. This is Biden's war. This is Biden's failure. I think she would have asked for a ceasefire a long time ago, the person added.
And again, this person is, quote, a Democrat who helped elect Biden in 2020. So
these are people close to her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in other words, that could be anybody.
But it's notable that she's leaking it. There's a range of outcomes for her, right? She's also thinking about her prospects in 2028. Distancing herself from this is going to be key, and she sees the writing on the wall. I think it's also true that she's more empathetic towards Palestinians than Biden, because as Democrats go,
I think it's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible to be as racist, honestly, towards the Palestinians and horrific in your foreign policy than Biden has. But the other side of it is, she's wondering, is there an opening? And I know that it's such a slim chance, but if Biden's I'm out, dude, and people force him out, is she going to take his place as the nominee? I know it's the slimmest of chances, but there are a lot of seeds being planted, and she leaked some of this other stuff to Politico weeks earlier about how she disapproved of Biden's lack of sympathy towards the Palestinian people and how he was handling this. She understands, I think, that if she wants a future in the Democratic Party, everybody under 40 is just disgusted by this in the Democratic base. 2, I also think as a woman of color, she has a different experience in America than Biden has. Biden romanticizes Israel and romanticizes America and has a history of racist remarks about black people, about Arab people, and his actions reflect that as well. He's 81 years old or 80 years old. I forget exactly. He's not somebody who's going to change his mind. He's in fact like only now responding to this because of the immense pressure. And so she's trying to distance herself from it for her political future. And then I also think there is a slim chance that like she either takes over before November, slimmest. I am making that clear. But if Biden drops dead in their second term, if he gets elected, she also wants to be able to like have some support from a younger voting base.
I think it's obvious though that nobody thinks that they can win anything in the Democratic Party with Joe Biden's perspective. I mean, he's already there. He's already the nominee. But anybody who would have any other future in the Democratic Party realizes like this is untenable.
Good job to everybody who is unsatisfied, because this is this response and this further leak after the I thought very cynical Edmund Pettus thing. Like this is the pressure that needs to be applied, and keep not being keep not taking just words for an answer.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, head into the fun half of the program. We will take your phone calls. 646-257-3920 is the number. 646-257-3920 is the number. We'll also take your IMs. You can IM us through the app. You can get the app at majority.app.com. You got to be a member to IM us, and you can become a member by going to jointhemajorityreport.com. When you do, you not only help this show survive and thrive, you also get the free show, free of commercials, and you get the fun half, and you can IM us. And in the next day or two, I'm going to put out another coupon code for members on Cedar's Seeds, where you can get an extra 5% off. So that would be a full 20% off. Right now, 15% off if you use the coupon code MAJORITY over at cedarseeds.com. Emma, ESVN. Oh, also, I forgot, today is March 5th. Want to wish my sister a happy birthday.
Hey! Happy birthday, Julie.
Happy birthday, Julie. Julie, of course, also works on the show. She does all the biz stuff for us. ESVN, Emma.
Speaking of that biz stuff, though, we should do just last thing before ESPN. Get Out the Void, limited edition, folks.
That's right, limited edition, because we're still, in the primaries, and you really want to get out the void.
Get Out the Void. Yep, in honor of Super Tuesday, you can get out the void with us, or you can get one of the calendar T-shirts, days of the week. Not calendar.
People are loving the Get Out the Void shirt, because every time someone wears it, somebody comes up to them and go, "What is that? I don't get it at all."
I'm so excited for mine.
And then it gives people like a 45-minute explanation as to why it's on a shirt.
There's also the Whoopsie T-shirt, which you can give your explanation for. Yeah, and then that days of the week one, if you look closely, it's actually a Hamas target list. So you get 2 for 1 there. That's a joke. Shop.majorityreportradio.com. And then on ESPN, we talked a bit about the NFL free agency coming up, NHL trade deadline on Friday, and more news, youtube.com/ESPN show.
Matt.
Left Reckoning, I am taking it easy this week because David Griscom's on his honeymoon, and we're not doing nothing because I'm still recovering from Austin. So, peace out. Patreon.com/Left Reckoning if you want to give David a little bit of a wedding present, though, and get our Patreon shows and post-game shows.
Quick break. Fun half.
You are in for it. All right, folks. 646-257-3920. See you in the fun half.
Are you ready?
Who sent us this?
Alpha males are back. Boy is back. And the alpha males are back.
just as delicious as you could imagine.
The alpha males are back, 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 boy, back. And the alpha males are back, 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 back.
Just want to degrade the white man.
Alpha males are back, back.
I take all of it in my throat.
Alpha males are back, 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 back.
Snowflake says what?
The alpha males are back, 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 back.
You are a madman.
And the alpha males are back, back.
Oh no, Sam Seder! What a fucking nightmare!
Nightmare.
Bring back DJ Dinner.
Yeah, or a couple of them, just put them in rotation.
DJ Dinner.
Well, the problem with those is they're like 45 seconds long, so I don't know if they're enough of a break.
That's fucking nonsense. You see white people doing drugs that look worse than normal white people, and all white people look disgusting.
And the alpha males.
Psych. Fuck them. Fuck them. Snowflake says what? Snowflake says what?
A hell of a lot of bank. A hell of a lot of bank. A hell of a lot of bank. Okay, I'm making stupid money. Hell of a lot of bank. A hell of a lot of bank.
All lives matter. Have you tried doing an impression on a college campus?
I think that there's no reason why reasonable people across the divide can't all agree with this. Psych.
And the alpha males are back, 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 back. And the Africans are black, 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 black African. And the alpha males are black, 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 black. And the Africans are back, 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 back.
When you see Donald Trump out there, doesn't a little part of you think that America deserves to be taken over by jihadists? Keeping it 100.
Can't knock the hustle.
Come on, fuck them, fuck them.
Things I do for the bigger game plan.
By the way, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me, Jew boy. I have a thought experiment for you.
And the alpha males are back, back. Africans are black, black. Alpha males are black, black. Africans are back, back.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Someone needs to pay the price for blasphemy around here.
I am a total pussy. Pussy, 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 pussy.
We are back. You can be part of this program by calling into the show at 646